guys, it's Allie, and today I'm going to be doing the Six of Crows pre-Netflix tag. This tag was created by the lovely Rachel over at Rachael Marie Book Junkie, and it was made to kind of celebrate and also discuss the new Netflix show limited series that is going to be created following the Grishaverse and also the Six of Crows duology. So the original trilogy plus the additional duology, and I don't know if King of Scars is going to be included in that as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that is what this tag was made for, to go over not necessarily the books themselves, but specifically the things that like with any adaptation, the things that readers like myself and people who love Six of Crows like myself are really thinking about going into this adaptation. And so Rachel has come up with some categories to talk about those different things. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that Rachel has pointed out about this adaptation that I and all other lovers of Six of Crows are very concerned with this Netflix adaptation is that Nina is a plus-sized woman and should remain so in the adaptation. So, number one is Nina better be plus-sized. Name a book that has great fat representation. Now, I am ashamed to say that Six of Crows is actually the first book that I have read, or remember reading at least, that has such great fat representation. Nina is a strong, badass woman, and her weight is not anything to be made fun of. In fact, it is constantly affirmed that it is what makes her who she is, and that she is completely comfortable in her own skin, and she is gorgeous. So it is unfortunate that that is the only book that I have really had that experience with, where a character who was plus sized was treated that way by the narrative. Usually it's characters who are like the best friend character, or people who are like made fun of or bad, like antagonistic characters. So the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head is Darkling, which I have seen the Netflix adaptation of it, but I actually haven't read the book Darkling yet, though I do have it on audiobook. I just need to get around to it. My audiobook TBR is too long. But so please do actually leave some recommendations down in the comments for me, because I want to read more books with some fantastic representation for plus-size people, especially plus-size women who I feel like a lot of times get a pretty bad rep in YA especially. So give me some recommendations there, please. The next thing that Rachel has pointed out about this new adaptation is Melina is not my OTP. Name a book where you couldn't get behind the romance. Now, first of all, this doesn't have to do with the question, but Melina is, in fact, my OTP in terms of the original Grishaverse trilogy. Not of all time, but I definitely do not ship Alina and the Darkling, and I don't understand all of the hate that comes at Mal, and I don't think he is a toxic masculine character. I don't get that argument at all. So, that being said, the other book where I really couldn't get behind the romance is the romance between Cardan and Jude in The Cruel Prince and the Wicked King by Holly Black. I just think that, like the relationship between Alina and the Darkling, their relationship is based entirely on a power struggle and not on mutual respect, love, communication, and trust. And those are the things that I think are necessary when I go to ship a character or characters together, is that they need to have at least the potential for that. And currently, at least in the case of Jude and Cardan, I don't see that happening. I feel like their relationship is always going to be some level of toxic and not good for either of them. And I don't know, maybe in the later books, we'll see. But yeah, so sorry book Twitter, but those two. Number 3 of this tag is The Darkling Isn't Dead, a book in which you connected with the villain. First of all, I didn't really connect with the Darkling. There was a time where I thought he might have a nice arc, but you guys have read the books. But a book where I did, in fact, connect with the villain, or at least an antagonistic force, is the case of Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter books. Now, I don't connect with him in the sense that I personally connect with him or that I had his experience in any way. In fact, I had very much the opposite of his experience, but I think his story could have been, if fleshed out a little bit more, could have been a really interesting look at how people have a really hard time breaking out of abusive family relationships, and how it can be really difficult to come to terms with the fact that the way that you have been raised is in fact not a great way to be raised. And so the whole story of Draco could have been a really interesting story of somebody who grew up in an abusive, racist, terrible household, finding his own way and learning how to do the right thing purely on his own. And I feel like that could have been a really interesting kind of anti-hero, bully becomes at least an okay guy storyline. And I feel like the books as they exist kind of didn't completely flesh out his character. He kind of ended the same way he began, as just like not a great guy, but at least Harry doesn't care about him anymore. I don't know. So that would be that one. Draco Malfoy. Number 4 is Don't You Dare Whitewash, a book to TV/movie adaptation where the character's ethnicity was respected. So I haven't actually seen this adaptation yet, but I have obviously seen the cast and trailers and stuff for it. And that is the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. And I was very happy to see that all of the characters' ethnicities were respected in that. And I am still eager to see the movie. I just haven't really gotten the chance yet. But yeah, so that is my answer for that one. Number 5 is The King of Scars. Name a book by a beloved author you are super excited about, so an upcoming release. I have 2 main ones that I'm very excited about, though I have obviously a lot that I'm excited to read, and that is going to be the sequel to An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I absolutely adored that book, and I'm so excited that there is going to be a sequel, and I'm so excited to read the sequel. If you follow me on Twitter, you have seen me rant about this. But yes, so definitely that book, and also the 3rd book in the Renegades series by Marissa Meyer, which just got a title, which is going to be called Supernova, so I'm very excited about that one as well. I'm also very excited to read Queen of Nothing by Holly Black again. Even though I don't really ship the Carden and Jude couple, I do really enjoy those books, so I'm very excited to read that book as well. There's also a bunch of other ones, but it's too long to name here. Number 6 is Inej and Kaz, fan cast your faves. I am really bad at fan casting just as a general rule. I tend to just choose the person who looks most like it, so a lot of times that ends up being random people that I found pictures of on Pinterest, or models or actors from different countries. And so when it actually comes to book to movie/TV adaptations, I am very forgiving with the casting process. As long as the character's ethnicity is represented and as long as other aspects of their identity are respected, I am perfectly happy with choosing just whoever fits the role the best. I trust the casting directors to do a good job with that, especially when it comes to Netflix adaptations, which they've been pretty consistently good at. So I am not going to fan cast my faves because I want to be able to envision the characters the way that the adaptation and the Netflix wants me to. So I'm gonna say no on that one. Next up is No Mourners, No Funerals, a book quote that has stuck with you. I have actually mentioned this quote in a previous video, but it is still just one of my favorite quotes, even if it is said by a character who I kind of hate, and that is Albus Dumbledore's quote from the last book in the Harry Potter series, and that is, "Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean that it is not real?" I just really love that quote, and I'm gonna use it again here because it's a good quote, so that is my answer for that one. And finally, number 8 is to tag your faves and spread the hype. I'm not actually sure who has read these books because it's one of those series that I feel like everybody's read it just because everybody talks about it on Twitter so much, but when you actually talk to people about whether or not they've read it, they tend to, not know what you're talking about. So I'm just going to tag anybody who has read these books, even if you haven't actually, if you just care about adaptations in general, or if you've seen all of the book Twitter stuff that's been going around. So you are tagged. All of those of you who want to make this video you tagged. So that is it for me. If you liked this video, leave it a like, and if you like my content, do subscribe. I make videos every Friday, and I will see you all in the next video.